Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with a really interesting new recording with a kind of strange coupling, but it works, of Alfven and Rautavaara with the Gothenburg Symphony Orchestra under Neeme, Järvi, our good old friends here. And they're in very good shape for this recording, which is live, and it's very interesting that it's live, as you will hear momentarily. The works in question, two by Alfven. First, Festspel. The Festspel is sort of the Swedish consecration of the house overture. It was composed in 1908 or 1907, performed in 1908, for the opening of the Royal something theater or something somewhere, but it was a theater building. And it's fun. It's a polonaise, supposedly rooted in some historical programmatic thing. The Swedish king goes to Poland, or somebody went to Poland, but it's a polonaise, and a very enjoyable polonaise. And that's all you need to know about it. It polonaises its way, through 7 minutes of fanfares and polonaisitude, and it's really, really enjoyable. Very vivid, nicely played here. It's exciting. It's really, really good. Next, and this is what's really interesting, comes Rautavaara's Cantus Arcticus, which is his most popular work, and it's been recorded now quite a few times, probably 8 or 9 or something like that. As some of you may know, this is a concerto for taped bird sounds and orchestra, and it is marvelous. It's one of the most fabulous meldings of pre-recorded sounds and acoustic orchestra. It works fabulously well. I've heard it a couple times live. I have all of the recordings of it. They all sound lovely. It's really amazing. What happens is you get bird sounds, like a lot of birds. I mean, there's like a whole swamp full of birds, various kinds, larks and swans and, warble, whipper or somethings, and cranes. I don't know. There's all kinds of birds. And they're all hanging out and doing what birds do, like whoop, 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 it's sort of like Messiaen, only the real thing. And so once they get going, you've got woodwinds that do little birdie arabesques, flutes and clarinets and things like that. And then under that, the orchestra gradually wells up with a series of hymns. And it's rather similar in each movement structurally. And these hymns are gorgeously tonal, modal, broadly phrased, contrapuntally interesting, actually, particularly in the finale. And the bird sounds are integrate themselves into this orchestral texture. The orchestra, at the climax, sort of takes over with the birds being a background and then recedes as the birds come to the fore once again. It's fabulously well managed. I think part of its genius is its very simplicity. It just works because Rautavaara doesn't try to do anything like ridiculous or fancy with it. He lets us hear how the two worlds sort of interact and mesh. It's just gorgeous. And this is a beautiful performance considering that it's live. I was amazed how well it came out. I mean, it's very closely mic'd, but that's okay because there's wonderful detail in this score. Harp arabesques and celesta things happening and the soft tam-tam stroke at the very end, which you actually hear for once. And the way the strings and the birdie things all combine, it's really quite something. I was really, really impressed with how vivid it is. Some people might find the recording a little bit too in your face, too up close. But, the tape sounds provide just gobs of atmosphere. By the way, the movements are kind of fun. One of them is, something that Rautavaara said about the first movement, which is really enjoyable here. It begins with the bog, and he writes, "Think of autumn and Tchaikovsky," which is delicious. Then melancholy, the middle movement, which is only 4 minutes, and then swans migrating. Ooh, baby. And the whole thing takes about 18 minutes. It's just glorious. So then the last thing in this program is a suite of incidental music by Alfven. We're back to Alfven, who is, an earlier generation and a total late romantic. Gustav to Adolf, or Adolf, who was a Protestant Swedish king at the end of the 30 Years' War. And so he, fought on the Protestant side. And we've got a suite 34 minutes long of incidental music. It's a lot of music, including a whole sort of Baroque dance suite thing, intertwined. And in opening, we've got a couple Lutheran chorales. A mighty fortress is our God. Ein Festburg ist unser Gott. That thing. That's in there. It's beautifully scored and luscious and enjoyable and, somewhat neoclassical or neo-Baroque in the latter stages. But then it ends with a battle, really cool battle, which the Swedes won, actually. And so the whole thing ends heroically. It's a lovely, lovely disc. A really interesting music, interesting repertoire, well recorded. I'm not sure how Rautavaara got in here, but somehow I'm glad he did, because we hear some just really, really, really lovely Scandinavian music, and there's nothing wrong with that. So good work, folks. Give it a shot. You'll really enjoy it, I think. And keep on listening. Thank you for joining me. Take care.